One of the fastest savings using Operational BIM can be achieved at the retrofit, refurbishment, or renovation of a building. It's not only an instant return on investment of surveying and inventorying a building, but also accelerates all renovation work by providing clean information for tendering. Let's see the numbers first. For a 40,000 square meter property, where the typical cost of renovation is somewhere in the range of 1,000 euro per square meter, the expected savings can be between 4 to 12 million euros. This reasonable amount of saving can be achieved by simply using OrthoGraph's native outputs and the properly surveyed and inventoried building. How do we achieve these great numbers? First of all, by providing accurate and detailed data for tendering, later for the acceptance of partial works, and also by starting with a proper graphical asset inventory, where the condition of each asset is also recorded as part of it. Don't forget, the final operational BIM at the end of the renovation becomes also a productive part of the facility management, which I didn't count into the above pretty nice saving numbers. Let's dive into the details to see what's behind these attractive numbers. First and simplest, savings are to be achieved by knowing the exact surface amounts divided by materials and conditions. This way, tendering waste amount calculations, so all kinds of planning can be done using real amounts. In details during the surveying, room conditions and their use must be recorded, and in addition to that, further details like cladding, baseboard and painting surfaces and materials need to be registered. This has affected not only the tendering, but also we clearly will know the demolition volumes of each individual material type. Please note that here we already have a clear knowledge about the condition of each individual location, so the level of renovation can be planned and tenders can be issued individually using this knowledge. To further support planning and decisions, photos of each fault or panoramic photos of locations will give instant access to seeing the real site conditions. Let's see it live. What do we work from? Operational BIM consists of a floor plan, which is in reality a 3D BIM model focusing on building operation. By using the direct access export of OrthoGraph, these models can easily be shared with anyone who needs accurate building data. As you can see, these three-dimensional BIM models are accessible on site using the mobile device, and then on the mobile device, just simply we click the Excel export. We get an instant information out of the model that can be shared with any of our colleagues. So let's see how does this Excel export look like on the desktop computer. So now we are sending the Excel file via email to the desktop computer. On the desktop computer, when the email arrives, we will instantly see the Excel file that can be downloaded and then opened up on the desktop computer. This Excel sheet will give you lots of information, lots of results instantly out of the operational BIM. First of all, we will see project details, floors, locations, a detailed wall list, a detailed opening list, a detailed object list with all the properties that have been captured on site. And if we are curious about any of these elements, then we can just simply click out the link of these elements, and by simply pasting the link to the web browser, we will instantly see how it looks like on the floor plan, and also its properties will be shown if we have the proper user eyes to see them. And certainly, as this is a three-dimensional BIM model, this BIM can also be seen in the simple web browser the same way as we could see it on the mobile device. What do we get out of the operational BIM model, as of now focusing on the native Excel output of OrthoGraph? We can clearly see a breakdown chart of flooring conditions divided by material type. This, what we see here, is a simple pivot analysis of the Excel snapshot that we have exported out previously from the operational BIM for a hospital sample and a clinic sample. Please note that we instantly have a clear information about what level of renovation is required in different flooring types. So at building parts where there is a good condition of covering, we have already saved the cost of demolition. Now, new flooring purchase, waste handling and all related labor cost. This is already an instant saving on this item, which already exceeds the total cost of the creation of the operational BIM, but there is more. We also can tender real amounts, not only assumptions. We all know that subcontractors love to account amounts with a little bit higher numbers, as that's the easiest way of additional profit creation for them. This is typically somewhere between 10 to 15%, which is now saved, and again, it's more than the total cost of ownership of the operational BIM. But we have much more data out of the same Excel sheet, so let's dive deeper. The same previously mentioned details are also available for the painting surface too, not just for flooring. In this breakdown table, we have made the division of wall coverings based on the location type or room category, and also the graphical operational BIM could provide instant surface values not just to the wall surface, but divided it into cladding, baseboard, painting surface, and the ceiling to it. All this for room categories, and if required, then with materials. Operational BIM is not just about graphical measurement of a building, but the detailed inventory of assets. properties is crucial for revenue generation. We have spoken about asset inventory. Recording every door and window with their details, conditions, individually, bring 10 to 30% saving by itself. Certainly it is worth to do the renovation for only those openings which really desire it, maybe distinguishing between good ones or one that need only minimal renovation, or a full replacement will provide a big amount of saving on the previously mentioned demolition, waste handling, replacement and labor costs. This all is ensured individually for each opening, which means it's very easy to provide a detailed work order to the construction company, which lists at every individual opening what they should do. This same applies to any other assets too, HVAC elements, sanitary, BMS or anything that is graphically inventoried and involved into the process. So what we get out of the operational BIM? Optimized amounts of every asset with their conditions, accurate surfaces and amounts and even more. An opportunity to make the building more efficient than it was previously, but let's speak about it later. By this simple example, even in a building that needs serious renovation, we have found 11% of all assets that don't need replacement. There are also some more that only need minor renovation, so saving on asset condition survey has a very big effect on increasing the return on investment during renovation. I've spoken about building utilization. This is another report dimension of the same Excel output of Operational BIM. This is a breakdown chart of the building based on room categories. To increase the performance of a building is the most crucial goal of a renovation. If it's done well, then in case of a hospital we can have more patients at the same available space. In case of a shopping mall or an office house, the rental revenue can easily be increased by simply increasing the productive area of the building compared to the service area. This is something that we can easily evaluate from the Operational BIM for the current situation and can ask our architects to keep in mind when designing the new arrangement. But if we are talking about architects, then let's see what do they get out of the Operational BIM. They can instantly get accurate floor plans, measurements, panoramic photos out of the system, but Operational BIM is not a ready-to-use BIM for designing. Simply it's about operation. It only contains that information that is needed for decision making, for tendering or for workflow support, for example for maintenance management. This means the IFC generated from an Operational BIM will not contain slabs or typically pipes and tubes, as measuring these items costs money and are rarely required for the everyday operational work. So with minimal manual work, by importing the IFC files generated as a snapshot from the database of Operational BIM is a very good basis for preparing a BIM that is further usable for designing and planning. By importing the IFC output of OrthoGraph to the most used CAD systems such as Revit or ArchiCAD, the architect gets instantly walls, doors and windows there. We even have developed an add-on for ArchiCAD that can replace any graphical element with the required ArchiCAD 3D object representation based on the parametric data that has been recorded during the surveying or operational process. So what we see here is a 5-story building captured by OrthoGraph as an Operational BIM. It contains all the floors, it contains the openings, the objects that have been surveyed, but it doesn't contain the slabs there, because it's an Operational BIM and slabs are not part of building operation. Let's see what do we get out of this model. So first of all, we get the floor plan with all the openings, but if we take a look at it, all the openings, doors, windows are using the same object library element of ArchiCAD, so they look the same. But they differ in their detailed properties, which means that we can simply use an add-on that we have created for ArchiCAD, through which all the elements can easily be replaced based on their properties that are attached and stored together with them. So in this current situation, we are replacing an empty wall opening and place a door hole in the wall with the proper ArchiCAD gate element, and when we click the OK button, then it automatically replaces all the elements having a property set to be a wall opening. This is something that it looks like on the floor plan, and now if we wait a little bit, then we can see how it does look like in the 3D model as well. As I mentioned, all the elements have their properties. So it means that anything that you have captured together with the building surveying process in the OrthoGraph Operational BIM model can be accessed in ArchiCAD as well, in the CAD applications, any kind of CAD applications as well, because these are part of the IFC file. So here we just simply copied out a photo link from the ArchiCAD object element, and here we already can see how does it look like in a simple web browser. So this is the place where the particular panoramic photo has been captured. So we have seen many ways of cost savings using Operational BIM before renovation, but it can also generate savings during the construction. By measuring the newly built situations, we get instant accurate surface of walls, openings and flooring. As assets are easily accessible before they would be covered, their data can also be captured. Their position behind the ceiling, maybe with attached photos, will be a great help later for the maintenance management, or for example, the positions of consumption meters can help them easily read by the responsible person. Let me emphasize the importance of using RFID chips on these assets and all maintenance points. By building in the demand of reading them as part of the workflows, we result in tasks that really have been done on the proper elements. This same applies that assets can easily be connected by their RFID chips or barcodes and their serial numbers with external systems, let them be a BMS system, smart meters, or the inventory that the IT department has handling. The final results of using Operational BIM for controlling handovers is also an updated model supporting the future facility and maintenance management. So we saw some methods of saving on retrofit, refurbishment and renovation using Operational BIM. To sum all this up, the key steps are to collect all graphical and inventory data of the building, also including their conditions, using the calculated data coming out of the Operational BIM for tendering, replacing and renovating only those elements that really require that, and optimizing the performance of buildings to the most important purpose. The result in short term is an instant return on investment of the Operational BIM data, on long term embedding the accurate model into the facility and maintenance management procedures to reduce costs and increase performance. Sign up to this channel and hit the bell icon to get notified about all the new content we release related to the world of building operation based on real-life data.